Hi, this is Travis Turner of the As the Story Grows podcast, and you're listening to my chapter of Discography Discussion.
What would you say you do here?
Whoops. This episode of Discography Discussion was recorded on April 28th, 2017. What follows is our conversation with Travis Turner of the As the Story Grows podcast and includes Dan's never-ending battle to stay off topic. We hope you enjoy it. Thanks for introducing me to Candiria. That's fucking brutal, dude. I love it.
You're most welcome. Candiria, in my opinion, is the heaviest band I've ever heard. Everybody defines heavy as different. I used to argue with an old bandmate about it because he thinks At the Gates is the heaviest band he ever heard. And I'm like, no, they're moving too fast. Candiria is like gut punch, mouth punch, gut punch. And I don't know.
There's also a difference between heavy and good. So, like, do you mean like the heaviest as far as heavy goes? Because I can tell you, I've heard a lot of heavy shit that is literally just that shit.
Right. I got you. I blew out. Okay, at a 1995 Toyota Corolla that I totaled, and then I had a 1995 Geo, whatever that's called, which is basically a 1995 Toyota Corolla, but it's a Geo, right?
Okay.
So the insides were like the same car. So I totaled a car and then bought practically the same car again. Okay. I blew out both speaker systems at the exact same spot in the exact same Candiria song.
Holy
That's
shit.
An honest to God true story.
That's awesome.
That's like you with what's it called, Oblivion? It's like you flipped the one car during Project 86 and then you got hit in the van while you were working while listening to Project 86.
Yeah, it's weird, too, because I don't listen to them 24/7. It's just weird that every time I kind of stopped because I kept getting in a car accident every time. But that's not even heavy, you know. It's not even really heavy, but what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Do you want to tell everybody who we have on the show this week?
Yes, this week we have Travis Turner from As the Story Grows and Crutch. Got to throw that in there.
Oh, yeah.
Why do we have to talk about Crutch all of a sudden?
Dude, Crutch. That was like my first tech metal album.
Oh yeah,
I listened to Tough Guy Hardcore before that.
I mean,
no joke.
You found these 5 weenies from Pennsylvania that were all mathy, dorky, not hardcore guys.
Right,
that was us.
Yeah. So is this the kind of show where we're going to be telling stories? Like, is that what's going on?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I think talking about Crutch is relevant in talking about death.
I noticed when you talked to Brandon about his band and that discography, it took you an hour and 40 minutes to get to talk to his band.
Well, him and I had talked about that before we came on. Before we came on live, we're like, we're not going to talk about your band. Like, it reminded me of and I always bring up Star Wars in every single one, but it reminded me of in Star Wars in The Empire Strikes Back when they have everybody captured on Cloud City and they torture Han Solo for like 2 hours and he stumbles back into the jail cell and he goes, "They didn't even ask me any questions."
Put him in carbonite or whatever that stuff's called.
And if you put Han Solo in carbonite, then you are ready for episode 12 of Discography Discussion. I am Joe. That is Dan. That is Jeff.
Hola.
And this guy is Travis Turner.
That's Trav.
Hello.
The rad Trav.
Hello. How you doing? Nice to meet you, Jeff, for the first time.
Likewise. Nice to meet you again, Travis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only been a couple of years, like a decade.
So we've squeezed a decade in there, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Has it really been that long?
I think it's been over a decade. I think it was
11 years, I think.
5, 6 in there somewhere.
6.
Okay.
Do we need to take yearly trips to his basement?
Yeah, but not without him knowing about it. So we'll talk about that later.
You can go to that house. I don't live there anymore.
Even better. That'll really creep some people out.
Hello, Travis. I'm not Travis. Oh, yeah. Of course you are, Travis.
Duct tape him up. Yeah.
The guy who bought the house, his name is Russell. So I'll give you a lead. You can go to his house and be like, "Hey, Russ, we recorded an album in your basement before you owned the house. Let us down there."
Right. We need to look for some stuff.
I think we left a patch cable down there.
Right. So anyway, this week we are talking about Death, the band Death, not that other band called Death, who I haven't heard actually.
There's two bands called Death?
There actually are two bands called Death.
Well, there's only one band called Death, and the Death we're talking about is just Death. They're not a band called Death.
Oh, okay. Well,
Got it?
That's why we get you on these shows, because you know shit that we don't know.
We're not talking about a band called Death. We're talking about Death.
Oh, I'm not confused at all. So who was on second again?
Oh, my head.
Right. Aneurysm.
What would you say? You do.
No, Joe. It's not that show.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, come on.
I played the wrong theme song again, didn't I?
Yes. Damn it.
Oh, man.
And, whenever we first started this podcast, we knew we wanted to talk about Death. We really, it was just... I've liked Death for a very, very long time, at least for me. And like I said, I would love to be like, yeah, I was there the day Scream Bloody Gore came out. But, I wasn't. We're talking like, I probably started listening to Death, 2002 on,
Okay.
Like when it was too late. Like it didn't matter.
You got into Death literally after Chuck passed away.
Yeah, I did. Which I didn't know about at first. I remember I was actually like, because the internet was a very different place then,
Right.
like 15 years ago, you're on dial-up basically, or maybe you have standard DSL, but for the most part, it's just, you hear about this band and you go to record stores to try to find their music. You might get lucky enough to be able to stream like a 10-second clip of something, so you're not listening to your music on the internet. So I'm like going into Google, and I don't even think it was Google then. But it was just like, I'm searching, maybe it was probably Google in 2002.
It was Lycos.
Lycos is what I was going to say, or Dogpile.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I remember Lycos.
Mm-hmm.
And then you found somebody's Angel Flyer fan page.
So yeah, saying like R.I.P. Chuck, and I was like, what the fuck?
You found a web address this long with lots of backslashes and hyphens in it, right?
Hey, I didn't know you went to my Zanga.
We actually, speaking of Crutch, we dedicated the first album to Chuck Schuldiner because he died while we were recording it. And the funniest part, I don't mean to make light of him passing away, but the funniest part was we had people who were like diehard metal fans who were like they thought we had a friend named Chuck Schuldiner that died.
Oh,
and
no.
Who's Chuck? And we were like, ugh.
Why are you listening to our band if you've never heard of Chuck?
How the hell did you find us if you don't know who Death is?
Yeah, it's kind of a good, because, I was a breed of people that, because I hadn't actually heard of Death when I heard of Crutch. Or maybe my timeline's a little fuzzy then, but I was listening to hardcore, and then I got into like metal bands, and it was all of it in the early days was all through like Christian metal. So like I knew people that listened to like more Christian stuff or spirit based stuff, and that was how I got most of my metal. So I didn't start listening to like like the really good bands until later on. Not to say that Crutch wasn't good; it was my favorite. But
thank you.
That's one thing. Before we get too far into this, Travis, for those people that don't know, what are your qualifications?
I played drums in a tech metal band called Crutch. Later became a Lathian.
Yes.
And then I left a Lathian so my wife could have twins and actually have a husband around. And and then Lathian went on with another drummer named Joe, and not you, another guy. And
different
man,
Joe.
Come on.
And then they went on to sign to Ironclad, which was Trevor from Unearth.
Okay.
His label, and then one of their guitarists walked off the tour.
Right, yeah, I heard about that.
Kind of ruined all that. So
that sucks.
And then fast forward, other bands, and then I started a podcast called As the Story Grows. And
Solomers, right? You were on Solomers too. Right?
We're doing everything. Solomers is the guitarist from Crutch and Lathian. He called me up in 2011, beginning of 2011, and said he wanted to do another metal project, but he said I kind of want it to be a little less technical, a little bit more straightforward.
Yeah, I remember listening to it, and I was just like, "Dude, where's all the techie shit?" Yeah,
he was aiming for something different, and he just had that on his heart and wanted to play that, and and got Jason from Becoming the Archetype involved on vocals.
Yeah, it was
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah,
For sure.
Good move. And Jason did vocals. I played drums. Alex did everything else. So,
Nice.
like everything, like mixed, mastered, recorded, moved files around. Emailed me 6 times a day, yelling at me, telling me I wasn't recording often enough. And
Oh, nice.
Wow.
mailing me microphones. Here, try this. Your overheads are too blah blah blah. Like
Dude, just drive over here. You know?
he's an evil genius. That guy.
Yeah.
And then Unteachers, played drums for them too. They're back up and running now. I couldn't hang with that situation anymore because of distance, and I'm getting old and all that kind of stuff.
Podcast was the best bet, right?
Yeah. I can sit here and drink and talk to people. I'm pretty good at that. So
That's cool.
Before we go into it, I want to go ahead and get our plugs out of the way. And Travis, if you want to throw some in, you can do that as well. But I want to say thank you to everyone that is listening to this podcast. We are on Google Play. We are on iTunes. We are on Stitcher. We are on TuneIn Radio. So if you have an Amazon Echo product, you can tell it to play the latest episode of Discography Discussion, and it will. We're also on Facebook and on Twitter at Discuss Metal. And you can like and favorite and subscribe to every place you can find us, including discussmetal.com.
It's like magic, dude.
that's really good. I don't plug myself anywhere near that good. You have like that radio announcer voice.
Really?
It's a formula.
I've been trying all this time. Somebody finally said it.
Well, something we don't ever really talk about is this is actually not our first podcast.
This ain't my first rodeo.
We did a podcast, probably, I guess, before we did Into Destiny. It was before there were podcasts. I remember being like,
Really?
yeah, download this. It was like 2005. And it was all
Really?
Christian metal, and it's terrible. And I say things on there that I don't personally agree with at this point in my life. But
You can say the name. I'll bleep it out.
no, it's okay. It was the Centurion Outpost. It was a metal magazine thing with a yeah.
Go to archive.org. It's on there.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really
That's
bad.
nuts. Pioneering, man. It's formative. It got you where you are now.
It's really bad, dude. We say things about like religion and like like we were really into creation science and stuff at that time. Like, it was weird.
That sounds interesting, actually. I like those little side streets.
Oh, it's bad. Like if you want to see where I was 10 years ago or 12 years ago, well, you know where I was 11 years ago. But yeah, it's one of those
It was
like
in your basement. We came around again.
oh my God, can we get over that? But yeah, like you know, so we did that, and then actually, if you remember, Buddy was the bassist for Into Destiny. Him and I did a heavy metal radio show on the actual radio from midnight to 2 a.m. For a couple of years. It was called The Fast Lane, and all we did was play songs and were dicks to people that called on the phone and requested songs. Well, because they'd be like, "Hey, can you guys play such and such by like POD?" And we're like, "No, call the alternative station." You know, like,
No, they're not metal.
yeah, very much. We were very much those guys.
Elitist.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's the word you're looking for, I think.
So, Travis, tell us about death.
Death? What do you want to know about death?
I want to know everything about death.
What don't we know about death?
The first time I ever heard death, long story short, when I was growing up, everybody would get together at church, a youth group, on Sunday or in school on Monday and be like, "Did you see SNL? Did you see SNL? Did you see the skit?" And I'd say, "No, I was watching Headbangers Ball." And
Nice.
I used to sit there with my VCR ready to go, and I would record videos because I know that stuff's only coming on once a week, and I want to watch it when I want because I'm not really into like Paula Abdul, right?
Right.
So, they threw death, lack of comprehension, across the screen from the album Human.
Very
And
nice.
the first thing I heard was that open bass, and I right away I knew, well, they're doing something a little bit more interesting, and that song just murdered my face, man. I from that was one of the few times I can say that like the inception of a band, like the very first time I heard them, I was like, must consume everything that this man has ever done.
Right.
And then that happened to be right around the same time that I heard of Cynic. And Cynic had they're like untouchably good.
Oh,
and
no,
as a drummer, Sean Reinert's one of my heroes. I really look up to that guy, and and Sean Reinert and Paul Masvidal, I assume is how you say his name, played on the Human album, played on that song. So then I was like, so this is like an awesome speed thrash metal band that I've never heard of before, and half of it is the guys at Cynic. So I was like, So it's been love since Human, basically.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, Death. Yeah, Humans. It's funny. Human for me, I didn't really get into. I didn't hear that album until later. Believe it or not, the first Death album I did hear was Scream Bloody Gore, which is weird. It wasn't like I was trying to be chronological or anything, but a buddy of mine who we had, I played in a band with for a while, and he just decided that he wasn't into heavy music anymore, and he gave me like a whole bunch of his old CDs, and one of them was the original Combat Records release of Scream Bloody Gore. So I've got that thing like in a shrine at this point, but like, yeah, it's and it's funny because I heard that and I was like, this is kind of, it wasn't really up my alley at that point because I'd been listening to, I'd actually had heard of Cynic at that point, and had been listening to a lot of Crutch and stuff like that, and so it was really kind of, I'm not even saying that to suck up, it's just
he's actually telling the truth.
Yeah, like
he used to drive me everywhere.
Like 90.
I don't take it as suck up. I take it as completely like I'm humbled by that. The fact that you said Cynic and Death and Crutch in the same sentence.
Well, it's similar,
That's who we were chasing, man. That's right. I mean, we actually covered Lack of Comprehension.
Yeah, so. I really wish I could get a copy of that, but I know, like, I think you said you don't really even have a copy of it.
I have a VHS tape of it somewhere, and of the entire. We opened for Living Sacrifice that night, actually. That's what got our friendship with Living Sacrifice going, was they were like, holy shit, this band's covering Death.
Right.
And I have a videotape of it, and believe it or not, the one song that the video camera fuzzed out on was Lack of Comprehension.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, man.
I think the audio is there, but there's actually no video of me doing the really quick part. I thought I always wanted to go back and watch that, and that's like the one song I can't watch. But I haven't pulled that. I don't even think I have a VCR anymore. I wouldn't even know how to play it right now.
Right.
But it's in a box somewhere.
Well, I do have your guys' cover of Breathing Murder.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. I think, Dan, I heard The Sound of Perseverance first because you had it.
You did. I was like, dude, listen to this cover of Painkiller.
Yeah.
Right.
And in my pursuit of trying to find it, I could not find that record, but I did find Individual Thought Patterns, which set me up for failure because it has Gene Hoglan on it, and I mean, that's Gene Hoglan.
Yeah, just talked to him about that. Actually.
Yeah, we were pretty jealous. That was whenever we were trying to, like, how can we get people to be on the show? And then she's like, well, Trav's got fucking Gene Hoglan on his. It's like, damn.
Yeah, that I have to give props. My hat's off to Joshua Toomey, the Talk To Me podcast. That guy helps me out sometimes with some of the bigger names because he was in Primer 55.
Oh, okay.
And, totally not up my alley as far
guilty
as
pleasure of mine, actually.
Okay, well, cool. There you go. He my first Crutch show ever, we opened for Primer 55 and Biohazard.
Dude, what was the audience like on that? Like, that had been like
it was at a Christian club in Hagerstown, Maryland called The Cave.
Biohazard was at a Christian club.
Hang on, there's more.
Okay, all right.
And
this has got to be a good story.
Basically, it is a good story. We opened and it was our first show, and we were okay. We were definitely. I don't know. We pulled it off. We definitely had our sound issues. We never played live before, and you practice, and then you go live 1, 2, 3, 4, and you go into the first song. And you're like, I can't hear my guitarist at all.
Right.
So you just hang on for dear life, and everybody said we sounded great. Can't understand what Joel's singing anyway.
Right.
But then Primer 55 came out, and they're all like, yeah, this and that, and old school and everything. And
what up?
There were people definitely walking around like making fun of them and everything. I actually almost felt bad for them because I felt like, dude, this is like kind of a bigger show,
right?
And whatever.
It's two weird bands to be sandwiched between, too. Like
super weird. Yeah. And then when Biohazard got up there, they were like, I just want to let you guys know what's really going on here. And they were like, these Christians are good enough to have Biohazard play your club, but they asked us not to swear and everything, and fuck that, fuck this. This is totally going off. New York this, Brooklyn that.
bitch.
Yeah, totally going off this. Yeah, whatever. And then we're all in the back, like we're supposed to be good Christians, and we're in the back, like "fuck you."
Right.
Nice.
And we're like, you guys are authentic, and how many $55 hoodies did you sell tonight?
Right,
whatever.
exactly.
I can't talk trash on Billy from Biohazard. That dude is awesome. He's the nicest dude ever. Evan can kiss the fattest part of my ass, though. So
right. That's awesome.
Whatever.
See,
that was a wild show. And you know what? He had a good point. He definitely had a good point. I mean, I see his point. I just don't like that dude.
Right. No, I get it. It's weird too because like towards the end of our band, we kind of became similar. We didn't cuss that much, but like we definitely got this weird attitude about like playing like Christian venues and stuff. So like I get that for them it had to have just been an image thing and just a general douchebag move. But
and his kid was there, and afterwards I was in the parking lot ripping my drums down. Right next to where Biohazard was ripping their drums down, and his kid came over and started. He had something in his hand like a toy, and he went over and started tapping my ride cymbal, ting ting. And I was like, "Hey, buddy, it sounds really good." I love kids. I always have, even before I had any. And I was like totally cool to the kid, and he came, "Oh, I'm sorry." I was like, "No, it's totally cool. It's all right. Don't worry about it." And Evan was like totally nice.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, showtime's over, huh?"
Right, yeah. Like, the act is over now, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. I just felt like I'm not into that New York hardcore thing.
Right.
But
so we're definitely more into that Florida death metal thing, right?
Yes. More into that.
And so Scream Bloody Gore. So when I first heard it, I was like, this is okay. It's not techie enough for me. I've kind of come to appreciate it more as I've gotten older in the sense of just the pure aggression of it. I guess as I get older, I appreciate aggression more because I can't do it anymore. I can't. I can't get that intense. I think at any given moment during the day. So I mean, songs like Zombie Ritual and Evil Dead I liked because they had kind of more melodic intros and stuff, and then the band would just kind of pull into this just chaotic onslaught. And it's weird too because of the whole death metal thing too. When I listen to Death, I typically won't describe them as a death metal band. It's definitely seems more like thrash to me. Mm-hmm. Not all that different than what Slayer was doing, just a little bit heavier, I guess.
I wasn't around for it. I got into Human. I basically dropped in mid Discography, and I mean the difference between Spiritual Healing and Human is kind of where they took a turn for they became like super tech,
Right, yeah.
I think it was that album that people started to referring like a genre was called death metal. I mean Spiritual Healing, that is.
Yeah.
I feel like Cynic and Pestilence and even Believer, the Roadrunner came out with all three of them and they called it the Breed Beyond. It became it became like a wine pairing.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like this band goes with this band goes with this band. And they started like kind of subdividing all their metal up because they had to, because all these different genres are coming out. And I feel like Death kind of made death metal its lane. People may have been saying death metal before that. I don't exactly know. I wasn't around, but they definitely weren't referring to the shred, speed, melodic, and tech all mixed together until Chuck pulled it off.
Right, yeah.
And to this day, you hear something that just sounds a little more thrashy, like you were saying, Dan. It sounds a little bit more thrashy, a little bit old school Slayer.
Yeah.
Nobody who knows what they're talking about calls Slayer death metal.
Right, yeah, we talked about that a little bit on the Slayer episode too. Because then the very first time anybody ever showed me Slayer, he's like, "Check out this fucking great death metal band." I listened to it and I was like, it doesn't. I mean, because at that time somebody saying death, I'd already heard death metal at that point. I had the advantage of not having to wait for it. So, I'd be like, well, this. I remember telling him, I was like, dude, this doesn't sound anything like Nile.
Right. Right. Good call.
He was just like, yeah, man. It's death metal or whatever. And saying it was kind of the same thing with Death. Whenever they show me Scream Bloody Gore, it's like, and I can kind of see it in the sense of like, if you want to go by imagery alone, right. I think you can call those first three Death records death metal. But I think there was another band, Possessed, put out an album, and one of their songs was actually called death metal. So there's kind of this controversy as to who developed the term or whatever. And
there you go.
I don't think it really matters.
That kind of lines up with what I said, but I didn't know what I was talking about. I feel like death metal as a term was around before Death Human came out.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Death Human and later hijacked the term and turned it into the melodic, techie thing that it is now.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. No. Maybe.
That sounds right. I mean, that sounds right to me.
Definitely, especially later on when it became a little bit more mathematical. And I wouldn't say that started with individual thought patterns, but definitely around spiritual healing and human. It was like you had to put a little more thought into the pattern because to most people, it sounds like your standard thrash of play fast, stop, play fast, stop.
Right.
But if you start counting and actually pay attention to what's going on, there's a little bit more there.
Plus, there's just that occasional, as a drummer, Joe, you know what I'm talking about. There's that occasional Sean Reinert, Stuart Copeland, just like a hi-hat splash splash thing in the middle of a death metal pattern song. It's like, what gives you the audacity? Imagine the brazenness to come out with a couple splash cymbals in a death metal song. I still get made fun of for carrying splash cymbals around in my bag.
Right.
Screw you guys, man. Sean Reinert says it's okay.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, yeah, and I mean, Human is just such a huge album for me because it's just so. I mean, listen, I know we usually go one album at a time, but fuck it. The first 3 albums are heavy, and that's about it.
Yeah. For me, it was like a light switch for me with Human. It was just like night and day.
At
least it was for me. I loved it.
Yeah, testimony to that would be when you look at their set list after Human, and then when they picked up Symbolic, and then they pick up Individual, and then they move. The set list itself they ended with Pull the Plug because it's almost like Iron Maiden doing Iron Maiden. You have to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
But they'd played nothing else from the first 3 albums, and I was like, well, man, I don't abandon spiritual healing. I just like if I'm in the mood to listen to death, I'm not reaching for it.
Right.
But I mean, like, it's not like there's not a good song on there. Maybe Chuck would. I mean, God rest his soul. If the man was still around, he probably would have dusted off a couple chestnuts by now. But
sure.
But it got to the point where the first 3 albums were non-existent except Pull the Plug.
Right. Yeah. I mean, every now and again they'd play Zombie Ritual, but yeah.
Really? I don't even remember that. But okay.
But Zombie Ritual is an interesting early death song, in that it kind of like can blend a little bit better with their later stuff, other than the completely. I'm sorry, I can't say that word. Other than that completely stupid lyrics that were on that song, stare into the zombie's eye. Like it was all just so stupid, you know. Yeah. Other than that, though, I mean that song kicks on and it's got kind of this like Nihil-ish type of intro, and I think it fits really well with the set. And then you can still play your individual thought pattern songs and your human songs right along with it, and it'll actually work okay, you know. Mm-hmm. Whereas the older fans are going to be all like, "Yeah, man, fuck yeah, they play," you know.
Yeah. Joe, can you hear my dog barking?
No.
Oh, okay.
It wouldn't matter. It would go with the music.
It would totally. So, yeah, Human was huge for me. My favorite song, again, not Sucking Up, but is actually Lack of Comprehension. Yeah, I mean, it was the first song I heard off Human. I really liked, what was that other one? Together as One. Mm-hmm. There's just some amazing guitar work on that, and they had it was a Cosmic Sea. Mm-hmm. Was just, I mean, I had never really heard anything like this in the realm of thrash and even death metal. I mean, even like Cynic kind of had that going on too. Actually, I have a Cynic cassette in my truck right now. And
nice. Which album?
Oh shoot, I don't know. It's the only one I have on cassette. I don't remember which one it was.
Is it the album?
I think it's Focus. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
The Focus cassette became like. It was like Run Back Into the Burning House important.
Oh, yeah.
You know? I have to go check on my dogs. I'm sorry. Can you pause this?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Okay. I don't know. They could be ravaging each other right now. Hold on.
Sure, you're good.
Oh, I left my class up there. Whatever. We're going with the can now.
It's all good.
Guess where I got these?
I hate you.
Guess where I got these?
Yeah. I'm never like why the fuck is it tap only? The Zao beer.
This isn't the Zao beer.
Oh, I know it isn't. But isn't it the same brewery?
Same brewery.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tap only, and they're making like a limited run of like enough bottles to hand out to family, I think, basically. But
yeah, it's weird. It's not weird. It's awesome, but it's like, you know.
Yeah, it's awesome for the people that are going to be at that beer release, but it's on a Sunday in Pittsburgh. I can't go.
Right. And in St. Louis, it's just like, and you know, that's another thing. If I ever get a chance to talk to the Zao guys, I'd be like, dude, where's the love for St. Louis?
They're coming.
Are they? Oh yeah, I'm still fucking pissed. I missed him in Indy. Like I'm raging about it. Like I'm just because it was always my plan to go at that point, you know, and then I saw on Facebook, I was like, oh well, Travis was there too, so it was just kind of one of those like, shit, I could have met up with those guys at some point, you know, before that, you know, but no, I get like
could have came to Kuma's Corner with us and ate like a Viking, dude. It was amazing. Oh my god. So good.
That would have been great, too, because my work would have been paying for it.
Even better.
I'd have just bought food for everybody. I mean, company credit card.
You didn't have to. Kuma's gave us... We walked in, and they were like, all you can eat, all you can drink, everything's on us. And we were like,
hell
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of amazing. And we did.
Benefits of hanging out with a popular band, right?
Right?
Yeah, you can't do the all-you-can-drink thing around Dan. That's a dangerous thing.
Yeah, it can be.
If you guys are beer drinkers, are you familiar with Founders KBS?
Yes.
Okay. Like, when KBS gets released, it's a thing. Like I have one of the top 10 six-pack shops on the East Coast, 8 minutes from me. It's in Bethlehem. It's called Abe's Six-Pack Shop, right? Uh-huh. When they get KBS in, they email you a password, and you have to walk in almost like you're buying dope. You have to be like,
oh, nice. Wow. Hand them a note across the counter, like, here,
I'm going to write a number on this paper. So then you have to give them like a password, and you're only allowed to buy 2 bottles.
Oh,
right?
shit.
So it becomes like a thing. Like getting KBS is kind of difficult.
Right.
Kuma's out in Indianapolis has distribution from Founders, so they actually have KBS bottles there that you can buy. We collectively drank like 11 of them.
Holy shit.
It was amazing.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was. And 2 people don't drink.
Yeah.
So
that's hilarious.
Awesome. Yeah. Walked out there like, whoo. You know, it was great. It was really great.
That's cool. Yeah, shit. I definitely missed that by hours.
Dan is a ridiculous off-the-charts beer aficionado. I saw his beer collection at his house, and it's like, I've been to six-pack shops that have less beer than this.
Yeah,
he's something else. He's really into it.
Yeah, he's awesome. I've only ever talked to Dan once, and that was at Cornerstone, and I'm sure it was just one of those, who's this fucking curly-headed guy talking to me? You know, but
you'd be surprised. He might remember you.
He's not like that. Like, I mean, he didn't come across like, I don't have time for your shit, you know, like anything like that.
No, not at all. But he's got like a savant sort of way of being like, oh yeah, I remember we talked about blah, and he'll say what band you were referring to, and you're like, this was 9 years ago. Yeah, he's cool. It's like that.
Yeah, that must have been like right before they released The Funeral God. It was on at Cornerstone. But all right, Joe. So I guess at this point, I guess at this point we just started again.
I mean, you just pick it right back up there, dude.
I don't know what the hell we were talking about. Something about.
I got my dogs to stop barking, but I don't know where my 9-year-old son is. So I mean, I got the dogs to stop barking.
You got like at least half the priority list there, man. You know.
That's how long it's been since we've seen each other. My wife wasn't even pregnant with my 9-year-old that I think is across the street playing with the neighbor's kid now, I hope.
Oh, my goodness. That's crazy.
He didn't exist when you guys were in my basement.
Yeah, we told Brandon, we were like, yeah, we actually had his daughter do one of his daughters do you got 2 daughters, right?
One.
Just one. I'm sorry.
She's 14 and out like with her girlfriend tonight.
Does she know that she's on a hardcore record that never went anywhere?
For a while, she was like, I was on an album when she was really little. And now, if I remind her of it, she'll be like, I did. She's so into like hip hop and pop music. I've failed miserably with my children and their music taste.
It's all good, man. I'm working on it hard. I mean,
that's okay. My kid loves dubstep, so. And I know how much Dan loves.
Get out of my house.
Well, I remember when I got my. I remember whenever I got my well-intentioned virus vinyl in the mail. My 3-year-old, she wanted to help me unbox it. You know, it was like this big thing, and she was like, you know, she's like, what is this? She's holding the record, and I was like, oh, it's a record. We can go down on the record player and listen to it, you know. And she's just like, okay, let's go listen to it. Then she stops and looks at me and goes, wait a minute, is this scary? I was like, yeah,
Dan singing. Yeah, it's scary.
It's pretty damn scary. Yeah. And then, but it's weird because my now 1.5-year-old, we actually have another one coming in August because we've just been busy.
Literally.
But
nice.
Yeah, haha. But yeah, we actually, my 1.5-year-old, she refused to sleep for the first like 4 months she was alive.
Yeah, they do that.
And so I started listening to, I would go downstairs on YouTube and I'd sit there on my computer and I would listen to like these like rain on a tin roof, you know, trying to all the stuff you're supposed to show kids to get them to go to sleep. And
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And then like it ended, and then it just went to like my normal YouTube playlist, which is just like a whole bunch of it was like a whole bunch of Nile and like suffocation stuff, you know. And
Good.
She went right to sleep. Like as soon as that shit came on, she went right to sleep.
You lull them to sleep and then play suffocation, and they wake up like drooling and kind of twitching a little funny.
Right. Yeah.
That drummer is in a hurry.
Oh yeah, I know, right? But
wait, where the hell were we?
Yeah, anyway, we were talking about death. I think we were like
about how silly the lyrics of Zombie
Zombie Ritual. Yeah,
right, Zombie Ritual. I think we were around there somewhere.
Yeah, something like that.
We were talking about songs that they play live off the first 3 albums.
Oh yeah, we were. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
You are welcome,
Jeff. There's a reason we called Jeff in, man. We had to get the big guns because, like, I was like,
that's the only reason I'm here.
Well, and I was kind of like, because everybody's like, why 3 dudes? And I was like, well, if it's gonna be me and Joe and Trav, it's like I'm just gonna talk to Trav about shit, and it's not gonna be anything, you know, like there's gonna be no discussion, you know, like any real discussion on anything. You know,
yeah, I think we've had 5 minutes of real discussion.
Yeah, people show up and like, yeah, let's talk about death.
This is all gold.
You know,
I'm just
who
saying.
the hell is Crutch? Who the hell is Into Destiny? Who gives a shit about any of this? You know, why are they talking about Zayo? They did that already. You know.
Yeah, really. You guys talk about Zayo every episode.
Oh, absolutely, we do.
Mm-hmm. That's okay. They're worth discussing.
One of these days, man, I'm gonna get them.
Yeah,
at least one of them. But
I can try to help you with that.
That would be awesome. But yeah, so they played. They do occasionally play some of the old stuff because I've heard pull the plug. They play that. They played that all the time. Right. And then they played Zombie Ritual. I've heard Evil Dead a few times.
Oh yeah.
There's actually
yeah.
Yeah, Evil Dead's awesome. I just like that. It's just like original cheesy death metal, you know, melodic intro, and actually works really well with the movie. I remember like when I was really bored one time, I cut together like a video of shots from the original movie with the song, and it was. It's not on YouTube. To
the first 3 in so long that I honestly don't really remember much about it, other than I don't think I liked Leprosy. I think I liked the first album.
Yeah.
I think Leprosy took a weird turn where I was kind of like, eh. And the Spiritual Healing, I was kind of like, okay.
It was better. They had the guitars from Obituary on that one.
Right. Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
James Murphy.
James Murphy, yep.
So they but because I came in at Human, like no matter what I do for the first 3 albums, it's all a letdown because Human, you know what I mean? It's perfect. I just bought that. Speaking of the Zayo trip, I just bought the reissue from Human.
As did I, and I've got that too. I don't have it with me, but yeah. Is yours gold too? Is the actual LP gold?
I haven't even opened it yet.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we got an unboxing.
Now we have an
going
unboxing.
Right live.
Nice.
Yeah, me and Joe listened to it right here last week. Oh yeah, yours is black. Mine's gold.
Gold's cool.
Yeah, I'll show you some pictures. I didn't know that though, because I'm kind of weird. I actually prefer the black LP a lot of the time, but.
Everybody says that about being an audiophile. That's actually the better sound quality and everything. Mm-hmm. I don't think I'm careful enough to really notice. To be honest, I don't care. Whatever, you know.
The only way you could tell me that it actually does sound better is if the actual vinyl had a different textural quality, which I don't think exists. It's kind of like when people would say the same thing about CDs. It's like, you realize it's digital, right?
Well, here's the thing though. I think the picture discs, because I got a couple of picture discs. And those I do think sound worse than just your typical black vinyl, but
Right.
I don't have any other Death albums on vinyl yet.
I think if you take a longer album, anybody that is like a double 180 gram, 2 or 3 songs per side,
right,
and then you go find like the flimsy, easily bendable 1 record version of the same album,
right,
you'll hear a difference.
Sure.
But as far as like, oh, you know what? Your 180 sounds good, but have you heard the 200 gram? Like, I'm not that guy. I don't think I have ears for it. My ears are still ringing from all the cymbals. You know, I have tinnitus, dude. I can't hear that shit.
Right.
Some people can. God bless them. I don't think I've ever had that ability to really be like, whatever.
No, I get it, man. Like I'm really much the same. I mean, I still listen to tapes, and I don't really have much of a problem with them. You know.
Yeah.
That's one thing about Death that I noticed while I was getting ready for the show and listening to the whole discography. They are very much like they're a vinyl record 80s band. All their albums are like 8 or 9 songs. So it's one side and then the other side.
Yep.
Good point, man. 38 minutes and get off the toilet, right?
Right, and it's a great 38 minutes. You know, it's just
exactly.
At least from Human on.
I think my review of the first 3 records, and Scream Bloody Gore stands on its own, but by the time I got to Human, I wrote down, if you think you should like Cannibal Corpse, but you just don't, listen to Death. It's a good middle ground. It's really thrashy, and the vocals are way better.
And the lyrics are all fucked up, yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of, that's actually a really good way of putting it, Joe, because that's kind of where I'm at with Cannibal, is like, everything about them is incredible. Why don't I want to listen to them?
It's the vocals.
It's boring. It's so technical at times that it's boring. Here's the thing about a good tech metal record is that you have to remember it. There still has to be some sort of hook, some kind of memory that you associate with it. When I listen to a Cannibal Corpse record, I mean, I've got like two Cannibal Corpse records because I feel like that's all I need. Mm-hmm. And I listen to it and I enjoy it the entire time I'm hearing it. And then whenever I turn it off, it's gone. It doesn't exist in my mind at all after that.
Yeah. I'm with you. I got you. It just seems like, there's nothing about it that's memorable. Like Death was like, I remember driving to Crutch practice, driving all the way out to practically Harrisburg on 78 West. So you just point the car straight and drive for an hour.
Right.
And I remember playing rhythm guitar on the steering wheel the whole way, to the point where I would get to practice and be like, my forearms are tired because I was playing Flattening of Emotions on my steering wheel.
Right.
And I'm like humming along to the guitar parts, and I can't hum along to Chuck's vocals because he's not that guy.
Right.
But I'm humming along to the guitar parts underneath Chuck's kind of linear vocal style. Kind of, you know. That's how melodic they are, and I like that stuff. And I mean, I guess if that's not brutal enough, and the tough guys don't think that that's metal, and I just think,
well, they can go back and listen to Scream Bloody Gore because Death should appeal to everybody that likes extreme music.
Right on.
And that's what I like about them, because if you're I mean, no offense to people that are like this, but if you're a meathead and all you like is heavy all the time, you really can't go wrong with the first 3 Death albums.
Right.
You know, because they're still, I still feel like, despite that, they're nothing compared to what was to come. However, I think from a pure death metal standpoint, for that time, the other bands that were out at the time, I still feel like Death was a cut above. You know, they were still kind of the best at that sound. And they,
I agree.
Yeah. I
think a lot of bands started chasing them.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I think a lot of bands started going melodic and folding in that direction and kind of heading that way. And some of them were probably very successful and did a great job.
Right.
But yeah, Death though. Oh my God. And then moving on. Are we moving on from Human?
Yeah, let's go.
I could gush about how great Human is.
Yeah, we might as well. Yeah.
But the moving on to Symbolic was next, right?
The individual thought.
That's right. I always do that. I always get those two backwards. I don't have Individual in front of me. I think I have the CD over there. But that's when Gene came in.
Yep.
And
mighty Gene Hoglan. Yep.
Oh, Mr. Hoagland. He is...
Say it with me, Travis. Hi, Gene. Bye, Gene.
He's not going to listen to this, dude.
In and out, one record.
Nobody listens to this. But yeah, it's...
no, he did 2 records.
He did Symbolic also, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Symbolic and Individual.
Yep.
Come on. Yeah. Crack today.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, Chuck passed away in 2001. Sean Reinert, Gene Hoglan for 2 albums, Richard Christie. Where the hell was he going to go next? Like, he would have had to been getting into like his Marco Minimans and his Virgil Donati's. He would I don't know what plateau was this guy going to hit with his musicians.
I think we all know the answer to that, though. The answer was he was going to go to Control Denied. You know, he had always voiced frustration about his own vocal ability. Which I don't know why, because dude, you get the Sound of Perseverance. It's like, holy shit, this is fucking great, you know. But
Gene discussed that on my podcast when I talked to Gene Hoglan. He mentioned that Control Denied was pretty much a derivative of label frustration. That's why it was called Control Denied.
Yeah,
Gene even said it like that.
Yeah.
And Chuck was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to play guitar, rock out, and have fun. You sing.
Being a real metal band, you know.
Yeah.
In his words,
Control Denied was killer. I love that record. But yeah, I think he was just like, he's just getting frustrated with the whole label situation. I mean, those are Gene Hoglan's words, so I have to take them at face value because
can't ask Chuck. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a little closer to it than anybody else I would be able to talk to. So
So was everything that made Death sound the way it did come down to one man's taste? It was just Chuck playing guitar the way he wanted to play it.
You with the difficult questions.
Doing the vocals the way he wanted to do it, and the time signatures and the changes, everything came down to him.
Yeah.
Was it really one man's vision?
I think so, because, I think so. I think mostly, it's kind of a shitty answer, but I think again, after speaking to Gene, I kind of had a lot of clouds lifted about this stuff, because I definitely fanboyed and asked him, like, what was it like to work? You know what I mean? Like,
sure, yeah.
Of course, you're in the presence of you're in the presence of the Almighty when it comes to metal drumming. You're gonna have to be like, so was it cool when you recorded with Chuck Schuldiner?
Right, yeah.
Came across picking my nose like an idiot, you know. But
what did he smell like? Yeah.
Right. Did he wear cologne? Like, I don't.
He smelled a lot like beer. Yeah.
but Gene kind of made it sound like, oh my God, where am I going to go from what Sean did on Human? I have some personal ideas. I want to do something like this. I want to play like that. I almost like, look, as a drummer, I kind of need to stand out from Sean Reiner. I don't want to be the guy who failed and kind of was like, failed to comparison to Sean. So I have ideas as to what I want to do, and I want to do this and this and this and this. Almost kind of like, this is my list of demands.
Right.
And Gene made it sound like Chuck was like, yeah, okay, cool.
Right. Super
and
chill.
Gene was like, oh, I had this whole presentation ready to go thing, and Chuck was like, yeah, I don't give a shit, whatever, let's go.
PowerPoint presentation,
it just came out that way. So I think to Joe's point, I think it was kind of Chuck's vision, and at the same time, good on you, Chuck, for picking the right musicians that also kind of had their own vision on what Death could do.
Yeah.
Because his bass players were not just playing the rhythm guitar parts lower.
They weren't They weren't metal bass players, really.
No, they were like fretless nut gags. And like, let's not overlook the bass players on these albums either. These guys were like jazz aficionado practically. And Steve DiGiorgio, for crying out loud, the dude has 12 fingers, And
right.
Like, they weren't just Jason Newsteading along, you know? And so Chuck did an excellent job with his lineup changes too, for how Death would have their thing, crash, build back up, crash, build back up. Why he switched as many people as he did, I don't know.
Yeah.
I do not get the impression that Chuck was hard to work with, but I don't know, maybe all these guys are just kind of on the cusp of getting married and couldn't. I mean, I'm sure Death didn't pay worth a shit.
Yeah, probably not. It's one of those sad things, like the great artists that have passed, years, like 100 years ago, or probably make more money off their product now than they did when they were alive. And I think that's definitely Death. Yeah.
I just bought a re-release Human vinyl a couple weeks ago.
Right.
Didn't do a whole lot to help Chuck. He's been dead for 16 years.
Right.
So
yeah, that whole situation just kind of pisses me off a little bit, because from what I've gathered from it is that a lot of it was preventable if he had been able to pay for the best care,
Yeah.
Well, his insurance actually denied him.
Yeah. Like, what the hell? Like,
I don't think he had insurance.
No, he didn't for the first time around, and then whenever it came again, he had insurance, and the insurance denied him. Is what my understanding was. I could be wrong on that, but I know he didn't for the first time, and they raised money, and then they had to raise money the second time because he actually had insurance, but since it was a pre-existing condition, that
this is pre-Obama when pre-existing conditions were still a thing.
Yep.
Right.
I had a family member, same thing happened to him with cancer, and it's frustrating as hell dealing with that kind of crap.
It is super sad because, again, impression I got from Gene was that the Shoulders did everything they could.
Yeah.
Like, one of my kids gets sick, I'm putting my house against it, but the house against it is only going to cover a fraction of it, and if insurance isn't going to cover it, it almost becomes like what's the point in railroading everything I own into the ground to just not have it covered anyway? I don't know the exact situation. I just know that everybody did everything they could, and the man didn't get care, and he died.
Yeah, it sucks.
Fuck that system.
Yeah,
that's terrible. We should fix something. Like, come on, man. The guy got 34 years old and had something in his brain. This wasn't I'm not saying let the elderly die, but I'm saying like this is
I don't know. This guy was a young guy. He had a lot to from a society standpoint too, and maybe people didn't feel this way in 2001, but like 2017 death and the impact of I don't know. It's just like, I'm not saying that an artist should be given special preference to stay alive or whatever, but like for somebody that actually had something positive to offer to humanity, so to speak, I'd say when you're looking at bands like Death, I mean, it's undeniable that, it was something that people should have fought a little harder to preserve, I get it. They're not thinking that. Nobody's thinking that, but
No, I got you, but I've kind of always wondered that. It's like I can't put a thermometer in South Florida in 2001 with the whole Chuck Schuldiner sickness thing. But do you think that the pick a baseball team would have let one of their players die of the same problem?
Hell no.
Okay, then. You know what I mean? Like would a famous actor have had the same issue?
No.
Like the fact that he straight up did not have the money, if that's literally the only thing that was wrong with it.
Right.
It's a pity GoFundMe didn't exist then, huh?
Right. I mean, because I feel like now, he could have just made the call out to all the Death fans, worldwide, and been like, dude, I'm having some problems. Here's what's going on. Yeah. People would have been like, fucking yeah, dude. We'll pay any amount of, because as a fan, I would have paid any amount of money to have another Death album, once he got better. Even if it was only for that,
Yeah, not only would we have all dumped $25 into GoFundMe or $50 something, but someone would have assembled a tour in his benefit. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, get all the big metal bands out there. Have all the members of Death play a tribute show, or something. I mean, just something.
It's a shame. Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like if you're seriously telling me if somebody had $120,000 back then, this could be a different outcome, and the guy could have produced more records. That's the real crime of it. Is how the hell is it $120,000 even
worth of someone's life? Like you put a price on someone's life. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Well, there's people that make 2-3 times that per year.
We just launched 59 Tomahawk missiles into a dirt mound, which cost how many millions of dollars? Yeah. And Chuck Schuldiner's dead.
Right. The hell kind of world are we living in right now? It's like some kind of weird, like, alternate reality that we're living out, but the real world's still going on fine. It's got Chuck and like all that.
Yeah, and how much of it? And excellent point. How much of it had to do with these fucking hippies if they would get a job and have benefits? Like Jeff mentioned, the whole producing condition thing. Well, if you would have cut your hair and got a real job when you were a kid, maybe none of this would have happened.
Yeah. Well, hey, dude, my dad said probably the most insensitive thing that I'd ever heard anyone say. And he's like, well, Dan, you start a band called Death. And it's just like, fuck you, man. I remember because
okay.
I guess that was supposed to make me feel better or something. And I was still like a teen at that point. It was just like.
Keith Green died in a plane accident. What's your point?
Right.
So before we get to the Symbolic and the Sound of Perseverance records, that's something interesting that I'm thinking about, because every Death album, to me, every album has everything good about the last album taken to another level. Okay, so, like, where would we have been with album number 8? Because everything we had on Individual Thought went into Symbolic, went into Sound of Perseverance. Where would we have gone after that?
Would it have become like Calculus 8 Like you know what I mean? Like, would it have gotten to the point where it's just like I just can't run these numbers anymore. I don't understand what's happening.
Right.
Or would he have just gone back to grassroots? Because, dude, he covered Gods of Thunder.
Yeah, that's on my vinyl release too. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
He definitely had some screw it. Let's just let our belt out a notch and rock out. You know what I mean?
Well, he did a cover of Painkiller on Sound of Perseverance.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. There's a part of him that probably just wanted to windmill and have fun too. You know? So who knows? Who knows what direction he would have taken it?
Yeah, I think I definitely after Death, I jumped ship to Gorguts after that, and
wow.
Well, I kind of picked up, not exactly in the same place. I mean, it's obviously different bands, different style, but they kind of filled the tech metal part of me pretty well, without sounding weird.
Talk to the guitarist from Gorguts on my show too.
Yeah, I know. I've listened to all your shit.
Dude, Kevin.
Yeah, he went to the source.
Yeah, I went to the source. Yeah. Yeah, Gorguts fucking great, but we'll talk about them a different week. But yeah, I think kind of going back to individual too. I mean, I remember, and of course at this point I had all the albums. I went out and bought them, and one go to the bank and cash all your birthday checks, buy every Death album,
Okay.
And so I listened to them in order, at that point, and I got past Human. I remember listening to Human and just kind of being like, okay, I don't really know how it's going to get better than that.
Right.
Obviously they continued, but I kind of prepped myself up for, okay, everything after this is going to be, most bands operate like that. It kind of goes to a pyramid shape or a triangle where, okay, so Human must have been the peak. This must have been the best it was ever going to get. Right. So I put an individual, and I'm just like, holy shit.
How did they do that?
Yeah, it just and with different guys to keep that consistent of a sound going. Yep. It just really blew me away. I mean, Overactive Imagination. Yeah, oh my god. Yeah, just one of the best fucking intro songs where it was it had the same impact on me that Flattening of Emotions had, it was just holy shit, man, this is what I'm in for now, buckle in.
As they exit out of the Philosopher with that I know. What are you doing? It totally sounds like a jazz upright bass player.
Right.
Has mistakenly wandered into a metal recording,
Yeah.
Crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's just bizarre but cool. You're totally on board for it. Normally when I hear a record that just throws a curveball like that, I'm kind of always like, oh, that was kind of weird, And I might like it a little bit. I might start liking it later, but the weird thing about Death is every time they did something different, I was just totally down for it.
Yep. Yeah,
I had no reservations. They could do anything at this point. And
Death would have been one of those bands now that if it would have been I took my eyes off the ball for a while, and then surprise, Death has a new album, I'd have been like, there's another $30. Yeah,
right.
I just,
oh yeah.
Sight Unseen. I haven't heard a song yet. Whatever, I'm buying it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I did that with Control Denied. I heard Chuck and Richard Christie went and did this other thing. I was like, okay,
here it is.
Yes, yeah. Here.
I actually bought that for $1 in a bargain bin. Believe it or not,
because they didn't know what they had.
I was very surprised. Actually, it's weird too because I had an Amazon order on for it too. Where I paid $15 for a new copy. So I went home. Can I cancel this order?
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, it's unfortunately that's becoming less and less. It's getting a lot harder to just go out somewhere and buy music.
Yeah.
Like Goodwills and stuff. I went to a Goodwill recently that had it was 5 Morbid Angel albums and a whole bunch of Deicide, just stuff I'm not really that into. But it was holy shit, it's $2,
That's, yeah, you have to almost follow the dude dumping the album. You have to follow the guy who's dumping his collection in there to get them, and then you can walk out with this entire collection for $18.
Oh, I know, dude, it's crazy. And I always wonder what was the story behind that? And the only way I was somebody died or somebody's mom donated a box or, something like that. Or, or they converted to a religion or something and they were like, I can't listen to this anymore,
Exactly. You know what I noticed about metal is I don't feel like even punk stuff and indie stuff and everything. I just don't feel like I know anybody that outgrew it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I don't know anybody who's I'm 40 now. I don't like Fugazi anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't work that way. Like this kind of independent and kind of off the rail kind of stuff. Like I'm going to be 70 and listening to Human.
Right. Oh, for sure. It'll be my deathbed. Yeah. Like.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to have him played at the funeral. I mean, it's beyond my control at that point, but.
Yeah.
I got your back, dude.
All right. Cool. You're gonna outlive me? Yeah.
If you go first, well, hey, it's a bit. Their name is Death, right?
Yeah.
It's funny, right?
Yeah. My dad will probably still be around.
Your dad's too stubborn to die.
Let's face it, man. I'm coming up on a congestive heart failure at some point here. So, you know.
Dude, now you have motivation. If you outlive your dad, you can play a death song at his funeral.
Oh, that'd be so badass. I just have to find people that can play it. No offense, Joe.
Hey, call it how it is.
I'll have to fly Trav down to do the drums. That's.
I got the guitar covered.
Which I wonder what the age difference would be. Like, would you be like 70 at that point? Like, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Wow.
Shut up, Dan.
Hey, you know what? I got nothing but mad respect. I mean, I remember a time on a podcast where a certain Australian drummer did say that Travis was a beast on the drums. So, you know, I've got that in my memory.
Who said that?
Jason Sherlock.
He did?
He said it on your show. Yeah.
I do not. Oh God, he talked for 2 hours.
I know, dude. That thing is.
Wow. I don't remember that. I have to go back and listen to that.
I listened to it the other day. It just came on. I have all my podcasts just kind of shuffle. So,
he was just being polite, I'm sure, because he has videos of him doing the right, left, right, left.
He's ridiculous. Yeah.
His feet. He says, "I'm a beast of a drummer." Okay, dude, he's like a paper shredder. That guy.
I need to. Yeah, that was one of the cooler interviews. I'm so sorry we're going off topic. I can't.
I don't care, dude. I don't care.
We haven't really created a protocol yet for guests.
Okay,
like it's one of those like.
You want to create one now? Let's get some stringent rules.
Here's what you're allowed to say. Here's what you're not allowed to say. You know. Yeah. No. I mean, you know, I just kind of thought I kind of just saw this episode as like. Who do I know that likes death? You know, like honestly, like it was one of those like, well, Joe, you know, Jeff, you know, and well, Travis likes death, so he's not busy. You know, it was one of those like, yeah, let's do it. You know,
now this worked out good, dude. I work like 4 Saturdays a year, and I was supposed to work tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
and I was not in a good mood about it. It really looked like a bad day, and like. 45 minutes before the end of my workday, the office called, and they were like, hey, one of the guys who lives down in Philadelphia, because I was heading down towards like Philly to work, he said he would work for you if you don't want to. And I was like, yes, I would love that. That would be great. Cost me all overtime. I don't care, because I want to be home with my kids anyway. So all of a sudden, I was like, well, this podcast tonight has like a totally different vibe to it, because before I would have been like, well, it's getting late. I got to get up really early. Let's get to you know. But now I'm like, dude, I don't care. I'm drinking.
Get to the last fucking album, guys. I got to go.
Right. Yeah, let's go, Richard Christie. I got to go to bed. You know?
Right. Well, now, you guys have blazed through the first 5 records here. We still got Symbolic and The Sound of Perseverance to get to.
I know.
He doesn't want to move on.
We're gonna have to pull a Trav and break it into 2 parts at some point. You know.
I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah. So I remember just calling Joe and being like, you know, dude, let's just go on. We'll record it. We'll talk. We got the studio already, you know. So it's like, why not just talk about bands that we like and not worry about it? And that was what was so interesting about your podcast, and what was kind of an inspiration was that like, okay, so he could talk to Christian bands and do that stuff too, and talk about it freely, but it not just be about that. It just be part of the deal instead of it being like the whole deal. So we did Metallica, and then like immediately after that we talked about Mortification. It was just like, fuck it, dude. You know,
exactly.
Who cares?
I mean,
you know,
my whole thing. If I hadn't come up with the whole what is my tagline? The thing about the monsters. I forget how it goes.
I don't remember the first part. I just remember the monsters part. Finding humanity in an industry full of monsters. Yep.
If it wasn't that, my backup plan would have been Trav's just trying to talk to his music collection. Like and I could literally just start with A and be like, I wonder if I can get a hold of Kelly from Atheist. I want to talk to them. They're awesome. You know what I mean? And then like wander my way through there, and then this dude knows this dude, and like I love Cancer Conspiracy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I wasn't a huge Junius fan, but Daryl led me to Dana, And then the next thing you know, I'm talking to the drummer from Junius. So then I kind of circle back around. I'm like, oh, I even had Junius in my hard drive.
Right.
I went and listened to them again. I was like, oh, them. I love this band. I forgot about them. Like, all of a sudden you get like option paralysis. We have so much music to listen to. What do you want to listen to? And you default back to Death.
Right.
Or, Master of Puppets. You just go back to what you're familiar with. Where like, I forgot I have like 3/4 of a terabyte of amazing music, and I don't know what's in there. I forget, And I'm just trying to talk to people, and I've always straddled. Like, I was listening to hair metal and horrible hair metal ballads, and Slayer and Scattered Few, and The Police, and
oh shit, okay, yeah,
like Primus, and like some hip hop stuff from when I was a kid, and like I was all over the map. So I mean, if I totally I just have to talk to the Christian people because that's what they want to hear. I kind of feel like that's more of a mentality of like a 23-year-old that's still kind of stuck in that.
Right.
Dude, I'm 41. Like I don't give a shit what people think about me anymore. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I have my own children to worry about. I don't care about what the other kids think about. I'm a grown ass man. I'm an adult. Like I don't care if the people are like, I'm offended at your curse words. Don't fucking listen. Then I don't care.
Right.
Whatever.
Well, that was where we were at. I mean, like we did the Christian thing. Yeah, I wrote when I was about 20. 23, and it's not. It's it's not that I don't hold those beliefs, but it's just one of those like kind of, especially now. I did something about like between 2015 and 2016, 17. All the bands, all the people that were involved in the industry just kind of started being a little bit more real, a little bit more honest about everything. Like I don't know if it's because like I don't know our time has passed or whatever, but like it's just it's just one of those.
The time of the Christian bands have passed, so they're all getting on the boats and go leaving.
Well, like it kind of is. Yeah, it's kind of like yeah. Are you listening, Frodo? But yeah, it's like
nice.
But yeah, so it was one of those like where I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to come out of the woodwork and just do this podcast, talk about bands that I like, and maybe get some guests on. The goal was really never to have guests,
right?
But it just kind of worked out that way where it was like. I think you were the first one that I emailed and was just like, yeah, because I was like, who do I know that I would like to have a guest that I think would do it? Like, so it was one of those, like, scary moments. And then we just kind of, then like Brandon got a hold of us and then,
yeah, dude, Callum, what an amazing dude.
Dude, yeah, he's awesome.
He's one of the hardest workers I've ever met, man.
We're actually going to drive up and go see them in Kansas City next month. So that'll be a lot of fun. I was like, yeah, you guys want to go out and have beers after? And he's like, after. He's like, before, during, and after.
During the show.
I was like, all right, I'll grab my super.
Right guy.
Yeah, I'll grab my super soaker. It's like.
Yeah, we did. I guess he actually revealed it on your show. We did a cover song together. That's how much fun you can have with this thing, dude. If I know you didn't ask me for any advice, but I'm going to give you some anyway. The whole like it was kind of scary to email you.
Yeah,
dude. Talk to Gene Hoglan. Like I talked to Jason Sherlock. I talked to some of my heroes. Everybody has been rad. Like they're so nice, Very, very, very few attitudes, and and frankly, the dudes that threw attitude, I didn't air the show.
There you go.
But
that's awesome.
Yeah, dude, people are way nicer than you think they are, and everybody likes to talk about themselves. I'm flattered that you called me. So, I mean, like, to come across like some sort of rock star asshole, dude, you'll know who they are.
Right.
Just don't air it. They don't deserve the media, frankly.
Yeah, that's true. Or we air it and use it against them and then get sued.
Right.
Awesome, yeah.
Right.
But, anyway. Joe, you can cut out as much of that as you want to cut out. But
none of that was anything that you guys need. I want to run over and get my Death CDs because I hold on one second.
All right.
Okay, all right.
Nice, dude. I got all my Death cassettes up in my van. I should have brought them down.
Go get them.
Ah, fuck you. All right,
go get them.
See, I even had Human with Symbolic, and then Individual Thought Patterns, and then Sound of Perseverance. I don't know what mental block I have, but I always think Individual came after Symbolic.
I think it's because we assume that Individual came later because it. Something about Gene. You forget what time and what year it actually was.
Are we sure about this?
I'm definitely sure.
Okay, so it was death. It was human, individual, symbolic, and sound.
91, 93, 95, and 99.
I always get symbolic and individual backwards. I wonder why.
You know, Dan will get mad at me when he comes back and I ask this question, but why are the vocals on Sound of Perseverance so different?
I don't know. The same reason the hi-hat is so different. It's just like crispy and louder and mixed differently. I don't know.
It can't all be Sabian all the time. Come on.
No, I feel like even if you go listen to Richard Christie's Iced Earth stuff and everything, he has a particular style. I feel like, I don't know this for sure, and I've actually never looked into it, but it wouldn't surprise me if he plays 13-inch hi-hats. They always sound smaller, crispier, more trebly, because he's doing so much on them that you can't play big old sloppy, slutty sounding hi-hats, you know what I mean?
Right.
And if I have one criticism on any of the last 4 Death albums, his hi-hats are piercingly loud, high in the mix for Sound of Perseverance. They almost come across a little fingernails on the chalkboard to me. Not that I can't listen to it, but I just feel like I like a warmer, just my style. That's just what I prefer. But his hi-hats are so crispy. They just sound like potato chips clapping together. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just my opinion.
Hey, I'm still stuck with my 14s that I love.
Yeah, I know. I'm playing the same hats for, 03. I'm still playing the same hats you played on the album.
Hopefully you're playing them way better than I played them in 06.
I bought that kit and all my equipment in 03, and I still have the same stuff. I mean, I cracked a cymbal or two, maybe, but...
Look at this cassette man right here.
Nice!
Well, my van, for whatever reason, has like the best quality sounding cassette player I've ever heard.
It's awesome that you're driving around a van and listening to cassettes. That makes me happy.
Yeah. It does, and I also brought the Cynic one, Focus, which is...
Now, let me ask you, does your cassette player play completely normal? Can you just put the tape in, or do you have to do any sort of weird matchbook wedge?
No, I just stick it in and it works.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't know how you pulled that off, but
I didn't, man. I just was like, because before I just had like one of those transfer things so I could plug my phone into it and just stream shit. But then, actually, it ended up working out really well because it was
nice.
Yeah, I just put them in and everything sounded great. I mean, unless the tape itself is fucked up, it's usually fine.
Wound too tight or something.
Right. Like I had a what was it? I think it was a Believer Extraction from Mortality tape, and I put that in and it just snapped. As soon as I know, because I was getting all geared up, right? You know, like I knew what was coming, so it's like, hell yeah, this is gonna be awesome, and then nothing.
I got rid of all those cassettes when I got the CDs. Shame on me. I'm a dingus. Shouldn't have did that.
It's all good, man. It was the smart thing to do.
At the time, it made sense because I was getting like a nickel for a trade.
Right. And it's funny now is if you go on eBay and stuff and look up some of those cassettes, they go for like $9-10 a pop.
They sure do.
I had no idea that like cassettes were like hot now. Like
you know whose fault that is? The skinny jean dudes that are wearing, like, ironically wearing schmedium Journey shirts.
Right.
Like everything retro became ironic and tongue in cheek.
And cool, yeah.
Right. So then record stores were like, "Oh, that means you'll pay more, right?"
Right.
Because I used to pull like you could pull Van Halen albums out of the quarter bin. Dude.
Oh yeah, dude.
Nobody gave a shit. Now you can't. In 1984, used copies gonna cost you like $14.
Yeah.
Somebody will buy it,
And because we all remember that, there's this idea of like, I'm not gonna pay. I traded this in for 5 cents. I'm not going to pay that shit for the tape. It's inferior audio quality anyway. And who knows how long that tape's actually been played? Because every time you listen to a cassette tape, it degrades a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Yep.
So.
Oh yeah. I have. What's the one cassette you've replaced the most times in your life?
There's a few actually, and they're not stuff that I like talking about. One of them was the original Nirvana Nevermind.
That's fine.
I've had
no shame in that game.
I've had about 12 copies of that
12
over the years.
copies, dude.
Yeah.
He's not kidding.
I used to really, really, really love it.
That and Bleach.
And Bleach, yeah.
So I thought you were going to say To the Extreme by Vanilla Ice. That would be your...
No, not so much that. But...
Dan, how many times did you wax a chump like a candle? Be honest.
What are you talking about? Every time. So, but no. On the more stuff that I'm not embarrassed to talk about stuff. I've replaced my obituary Slowly We Rot about 4 times.
Oh.
Which is weird too, because like as much as I talk about like tech stuff, I'm not like a super smart guy. So like there comes a point where like I just want to listen to something that's mindless. Which I think is why I like death metal so much, is because there's a lot of death metal stuff that you can just put on and it's just mindless, and it it gets the job done for me without me having to actually think about it. So
You hear how much of a nerd I was? I used to buy Maxell 90-minute cassette tapes by the 10-pack for however much that cost at the time. And if I really started getting into an album, I copied the album and listened to the copy.
So you wouldn't have to carry the tape around. That's actually probably smarter than I was.
And the only album I ever remember wearing out to the point that I literally heard it go while it was playing was Queensryche Empire.
Oh, okay.
I wore that joint out. I love that record.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care who laughs at that sentence. I don't care.
I'm not laughing.
But I listened to Empire so many times that one day I heard it snap while it was in the cassette. And I was like, oh no! And I didn't have a copy of it, so I had to go out and buy it again. And that pissed me off because that's $10 I don't have for another cassette tape.
Right, exactly. Oh man. But yeah, I guess I should talk about death some more.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
So that's okay.
Joe, you can edit out the last 45 minutes, right?
Yeah. I'll be sure to move it to the end. It'll be the special edition.
It'll be the outtakes.
Boy, oh boy, this album.
Yeah, Symbolic is great. Oh my God, Crystal Mountain. I can just listen to that shit on repeat all day, and I have.
Joe, can the drummer get some? Dude, the beginning of Zero Tolerance. Oh my God.
Let me get it.
Yeah, he can pull that up.
Don't wait for me, but go for it.
That's the trickiest. We were going to cover Zero Tolerance, and I just couldn't get the beginning to sound right. I was playing it exactly in time, but it was like, you're not Gene Hoglan, so stop. I was like, okay, fair enough. And the end of Thousand Eyes, he just with his feet as it fades out, he just plays 30-second notes with his feet and just goes, and they just lower the fader on it.
It's so inhuman. Like I just can't,
And then you see him, and he's such a big dude. Like you picture like this little bony, skinny guy who just works out, and runs all day or something like that. And Gene Hoglan's like, he's a monster. He's a beast.
Yeah, it's like where do those? Yeah, it's like his calories. He just makes them into super calories, and they just work.
Yeah, man, powerful dude. And then these other 2 musicians on this album, I have no idea who they are or where they went or what they've ever done. Kelly Conlon on bass and Bobby Coldell on guitar. No idea who they are. No clue.
But they were on a death album.
So
maybe they didn't need to do anything after that.
Good on you.
Maybe it was, okay, well, my life work is complete. So, but yeah, it's Symbolic was just kind of like holy shit, because I kind of categorize human and individual thought patterns together as kind of their own thing. Like I can kind of listen to them in order, like in sequence, and it almost just like in my mind just be like a side A, side B kind of situation. Mm-hmm. But with Symbolic, I mean, we're totally off into uncharted territory now. Like, I mean, vocals are more like what we got later on. They started to kind of get that high pitched sheen to them. Mm-hmm. And I actually liked that a lot. I mean, I was just telling Jeff on the way over here that like I like the way Chuck sounds on Human and on Individual Thought Patterns, but when we get to Symbolic, it's just like holy shit! Like he kind of just like it was the first time I kind of felt like Death started paying attention to the vocals.
Yeah,
and like how they sounded,
I agree with you. Yeah, Joe just mentioned that when you were out getting the cassette tapes. He said, "Why was the vocal so much different on Sound of Perseverance?" I feel like could be a lot of things. Maybe Chuck doing what he was doing with his vocals for as long as he did. Maybe he started to experience difficulty with it. Maybe he couldn't sustain it.
Yeah.
And he thought, okay, time to change things up. Maybe he went and talked to a vocal coach or somebody. This is all speculation and maybe. But I do feel like he changed it. It got higher. His throat sounds tighter.
Yeah.
And I can understand him more. And it sounds better. And I feel like his live performances, if you go look at Human, tours from Human, when his voice was younger and had less mileage on it, I'm not sure if I liked it better than when he did Sound of Perseverance 10 years later. You know?
Right, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
8 years later.
It's weird too because, like, as a singer, like when I'm singing along to it, it's really hard to. Obviously, it's hard to match that pitch. Number one, but number two, it doesn't feel healthier. Like when I you listen to Painkiller, like I have tried in the car alone. There's never going to be a recording of it, but I've tried like alone trying to get to that point that he got on Painkiller. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't sound healthy. I mean, it sounds like I would have to go like to the hospital or something after pulling that off. You know, it hurts to listen to. It's harsh.
He reminds me of very much Kurt from Believer. He does that kind of a higher pitched. I don't even know how to describe it. It's all head voice. It's all throat voice.
Yeah, and it just oh my god, it's
none of it's diaphragm.
Like, that stuff is so hard to sing. Like
right. So then you think, oh, the guy can't sing. Fine, he just does head voice. He just does the scratchy thing up with his throat, and then he does Painkiller. And you're like, oh, never mind. He has an amazing voice.
Right. Yeah.
Wow,
like,
weird.
That's some chops right there. I mean, it's
right.
Because like screaming is one thing, like, but with this is something totally different. You know, like. And I thought it was an interesting step in that, like, okay, now he's fixed the instrumental portion of Death, and now he's going for the vocal. You know, like he's actually paying attention to it. He's making it sound as good as it can sound, and it definitely upped the. To me, it upped the production level of the band so much more because, like, Symbolic and Sound of Perseverance, they don't sound muddy. You know, they don't sound like I'm at my buddy's house and I'm listening to this band practice in his garage, you know. And that's not to say that the old record sounded like shit. I mean, maybe some of the really old ones did, but...
no, but I think Human sounded heavier. It sounded more full. It sounded thicker. I think Symbolic is really massively not overproduced. That's a negative connotation to it, but it's like...
no, you're right. It is overproduced, really but it works.
More thought out or better executed.
Right. Death has a little bit more stank on it. It's got some more dirt on it, and I kind of like that a little. Mm-hmm. Imagine Sound of Perseverance with Human production.
Right. Oh my God, it'd be so heavy. Well, that's why the live version of those songs are so much heavier too. You know, like you listen to it. I've got the Death and Raw DVD, and like some of those songs are just like, I'm like, man, this is almost better than the record. You know, like. Yeah, as far as like if I'm at a metal show, I mean, this is what I want to hear. There's just nothing held back. Not to mention the weirdness of hearing those songs together, you know, because unfortunately I never got to see Death live, you know.
Yeah, but no, me either. They got the Death for All thing going now that I just never got. Believer opened for them, actually.
I believe that.
At one point.
No pun intended. Yeah.
I see what you did. Ancients and Believer and Death. I think, but I don't remember. I don't remember why I didn't go. It was right in Philadelphia. I must not have been able to go for some
stupid reason. Yeah,
my dumb family.
Oh, come on. I guess your family doesn't listen to your podcast. Yeah.
No, they don't. No, they do not.
My wife did listen to the Hopes Fall episode, which is great because I don't think I said fuck at all on that one. But. Good. Yeah, because my wife is still a good Christian woman, you know.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah, and
my wife's used to me by now.
I'm really no different than I have ever been. It's just whether I'm just more upfront about it or whatever, you know.
Right.
But yeah, we there's a lot of really good shows I missed just on the daily. We have a really good venue called Pops in St. Louis that always has like really good metal shows, and I just never go. Like it's. Again, and maybe it's just me getting old, but it's just like one of those. I mean, I'm only 30, but I can't just get in there and do it anymore. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like even the sound. I'm like, hey, you guys think you could turn that down a little bit? You know?
Oh, dude, I agree. Every show I've ever been to is like, does it have to be this loud?
Yeah.
I'm getting to be such an old fart anymore. But
And it's like I've played shows where I'm like telling the sound guy, well, I can't hear it. It's not loud enough. You know, like it's, you know.
Joe, you're playing stuff on there, and there's so many amazing songs on here. But can you make sure you play Misanthrope? I love that song, and it's like I don't think anybody ever lists Misanthrope as one of their favorite songs. I friggin' love that song, man.
Symbolic, Joe, if you don't know.
Thank you.
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
But that's
symbolic discussion.
Oh, I love that. I listened to the tape on the way home from work the other night because I work at a place that's I am in charge of 2 clinics, and one's by my house, the other one's an hour away. And so,
ouch.
But no, it's actually kind of great because if I start getting too stressed out at one place, I'm like, well, I'm going to drive for an hour and listen to Death, you know, or whatever,
okay.
You know.
All right.
So it works out really well.
Pop into cassettes.
Absolutely, yeah, and I don't have to worry about it. Like when I'm driving and I'm listening to like MP3s or I'm listening to like streams or whatever, I'm always just like, well, this song's cool, but I've got 8,000 other ones. There's got to be a better one in there somewhere, you know. Mm-hmm. And but with the tape, it's nice just to be able to just pop it in and just listen and it not be anything weird. Like my normal nervous tics don't play, you know, a part in that. You know? Oh, but oh my God, yeah, that Symbolic was great, and so I think when I heard Symbolic, I was like, okay, this is it. I thought it was Human, but this is it. This is as good as it's going to get. Yeah, right. And then I hear Sound of Perseverance, and I'm just like, holy shit, man! Like,
how do you keep doing this?
Yeah.
Right.
Who has that many good ideas in a row?
Mm-hmm.
You know, certainly not me. Certainly not a lot of the bands I listen to. You know, like. Most bands that I listen to, it's always like, okay, this was good, this is a stinker, and then it got good again after that, you know. Like with Death, it's not like that. They're one of the few bands that actually gets progressively better over time, which is very unusual, you know, especially in metal. You know, most guys at this point start slowing it down. You know, like they start to kind of ease back on the extremity.
Right.
And you could kind of say that about Death, and then obviously Sound of Perseverance doesn't sound like Scream Bloody Gore. You know, they didn't hold that level of intensity. But as far as the complexity, you know, and we say that as listeners, but if you put yourself behind the drum kit or you put yourself behind the mic or you know on the guitar, actually, yeah, the extremity's way higher trying to pull some of this shit off. Mm-hmm. You know, like I mean, even like my favorite track on this album is Spirit Crusher.
Sure.
Just because it's almost got that classic heavy metal sound to it. Mm-hmm. And you know, it's got hooks and stuff, and that was
dude.
Yeah, and
that was the hookiest thing on the album.
Yeah,
dude. It's totally like a Black Sabbath riff.
Yeah, it's like a disease. You can't get away from that song. Like
Hoagland talked about that on my podcast too, where he said I was trying to figure out the drum part. Like, like basically they were like, do you want to play Spirit Crusher for the Death to All thing? And he was like, yeah, but I don't know how to play that middle part where it sounds like Christie's just kicking his drums down the steps.
Right? Yeah, I know. It's like, what the hell is going on here? Yeah,
it's really the goofiest drum fill. It's almost if it sounds isolated, if you just took the drums and heard them,
yeah,
it probably sounds like he's laughing and screwing off as he's doing it. It's the goofiest drum fill.
Isn't that one of the notorious drum fills where when people say the only person that knows really what went on that day is the drummer and the producer?
Right.
I think Gene even said that where they were like, we could just call Richard and he could explain it. You know what I mean? But it's like one of those like, what the hell's going on kind of fills, you know? But yeah, Spirit Crusher is cool. I'm looking at the song titles too. I think man, it's been a while, but I think I am so far beyond in love with the song "To Forgive Is to Suffer."
Oh yeah, that's a good one too. Towards the end, yeah.
Yeah, but I can't quite remember how it goes. I'm just looking at the song titles, and I was like,
he's got it on now. Yeah, it's
I think that's what I always kind of went to. And yeah, Spirit Crusher. Oh,
yeah.
Dude, that became like a staple. I'm sure if Death would have rolled on beyond Chuck, that would have been played every. Well, it is. Death to All is playing Spirit Crusher.
Oh yeah.
Or right now, probably.
Yep. More than likely. I mean, the record was so fantastic, and I remember that was actually. So this is a weird comparison, but there's a moment on Scavenger of Human Sorrow where everything slows down and you go into that like techie melodic break that they do. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking the only time I've ever heard anything like that was on Crutch, Hope Prevails. Like I remember being like, and I mean there's nothing on that record that's like exactly that, but like it just that it evoked that same kind of feeling in me, and that's whenever I was like, okay, I'm gonna love this, like
that album. If you took that album and combined it with Cynic Focus, those were the two albums that we tried to probably rip off the most.
Yeah, I could hear that.
Because I remember the conversation on the phone with Alex about joining the band, and he was asking me some of the stuff that I'm into, and those albums came up with some other stuff too. I mentioned Believer was a huge influence.
Yeah,
and I think I hooked him with Damn the Machine. You ever hear of Damn the Machine?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I love Damn the Machine.
That's off.
One album. Once and done, and they were amazing.
Yep.
And having that conversation with him, he's like, "Yeah, that's kind of the direction I want to go." And I was like, "Really?" Because I went and listened to Crutch, and I was like, "I don't hear that." And then I went and saw the website. I saw like makeup and stuff, and I was
right.
I'm not wearing makeup, dude. I don't do that. And he's like, "Trust me, this is the direction we're going in." And then my cousin Steven of Tantrum of the Muse is actually the one who got me connected with those guys.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, they're not cheesy. Trust me, you're good."
Yeah.
So when I auditioned for him, some of the stuff that was coming out was like, it was kind of like Meshuggah, Destroy, Erase, Improve meets Death meets Cynic, and I was like, okay, holy shit, this is like I have to go home and do my homework. I like this,
Yeah, and I didn't know about any of that beforehand. There was a guy that I talked to on AOL Instant Messenger years ago named Matt, and he was just always like he was like your guys' super fan, at least according to him he was, So like
Matt
Trago, I don't remember.
I know Trago.
You do, yeah, okay. I actually have an Ancestor shirt that he gave me at Cornerstone one year. I can't even wear it now. I'm just too fat, but it's
he wraps his infant child in.
It was funny too because he cut what's funny is he cut the sides out of that shirt and sewed them back up so that I could wear it because I was so much skinnier at that time, so it's just like it's really weird that was an experience that I ever had,
Dude, mail that shirt to Jason Wisdom and his wife will make it into a pillow for you.
That sounds cool. I'll do that.
Yeah, I guess that he's like that's what true metal people do now.
Right.
You have the front and you have the back tour dates and stuff, and she actually cuts the squares out, stitches them together, and stuffs them with whatever's inside a pillow.
That's something that I'm going to be doing tonight. Yeah, that's
he has like a mortification throw pillow on his couch.
I could do that too. I've got the old Scrolls tour shirt.
There you go, perfect. Yeah.
That was another Goodwill find. It's weird. But yeah, Trago was like he was like my friend for the longest time on AOL Instant Messenger, and he's the one that got me hooked on Crutch, and it's weird too because I kind of forgot about Crutch for a while, and then I went to Cornerstone, and it was after you were already out of the band, and they were Alathian then, and I remember I'm just like sitting there at Cornerstone drinking a soda, talking to my buddies, and then I just hear Upbreak in the Clouds start playing, and I was just like, what the fuck? Yeah, I start running, trying to figure out what fucking stage it's coming from, and it was one of the, it was like impromptu stage or something, and we came in there and we ended up we watched them play every single time after that. I remember being like, what the fuck's the bass player? But they played with no bass player.
They went without it, yeah.
Yeah, doing the Zayo thing, yeah. It's
Joe Wagner, the guy who not filled in. He didn't fill in for me. He absolutely earned his job, and he was the drummer for Alathian after me. He's a phenomenal drummer, man. He definitely nailed exactly what I did for 90% of the song, and then twisted a couple things around and put his own stuff in there. And I was like, damn, that was a good idea. Like he would grind once in a while when I didn't.
Right.
And I was like, dang, he's really fast. He's faster than I am. He's an excellent drummer. They made a great choice.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Travis, did you play on? You played on the second album, right? I'm not trying to
Polytrosis. Yeah.
I'm not trying to pronounce it, but yeah.
I'm sure I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah.
We called that applesauce for a while.
Applesauce trosis. Yeah.
Applesauce atrocis.
Yeah. So
Alex is Greek, so everything is like even Solomor's is like a derivative of two Greek words that he smashed together, and he's just making up his own. He makes up his own shit.
I remember thinking that I was like, "What the hell are these names coming from? Like, can't you just call it like blood on the pavement or something?" I mean, I don't know. Like,
dude, when you're in a tech metal band with a Greek philosophy major from a Christian school, your songs aren't going to be called like, "Yeah, dude," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's that guy.
That's great. I mean, like, I remember because we named our band after a video game. You know, it was just like, what the hell is that? You know.
I don't know what that is.
I remember we got a whole bunch of flack for it actually, because we didn't know at the time that there was a band called Destiny's End. Like, I should have known.
Oh, jeez.
But I didn't. So like
we weren't deep into Google at that point.
So when people were whenever our shit started getting advertisements on like metal websites, people would always comment like, "Well, I'm gonna go start a band called Maidens of Iron," you know, like, nice, and it was just like, "Oh shit, okay, well we fucked up. Oh well." Yeah.
We had there was a mid Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania had some hardcore scenes. Like, there was a lot of bands that if it had an X before and after the name, there were fights. There was a lot of crew activity in Philadelphia and stuff like that. There was Nanacoke hardcore scene was like, I watched a kid get hit in the head with a skateboard truck side first because he was smoking a cigarette between songs.
Oh, and they were straight edge?
Yeah, and the straight edge kids were just like, Jesus. Let's go beat up someone who's smoking. It was ugly.
Yeah.
And there was a band called Crutch. It was spelled with a K.
Right.
So it was XKRUTCHX. Right.
Okay.
Total tough guy hardcore band. They were actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But there were some of those fans showing up at our shows assuming that the stupid venue just spelled Crutch.
Just called it Crutch, yeah.
Right. So they showed up like visors turned sideways, ready to kick shit, and then we show up like, and like they don't even know how to dance to that. So they were like getting mad, and it became like a thing where it was like, that's not why they changed the name. And then 1,000 Foot Crutch came out.
Right.
And it was just like Crutch.
Well, so, then there was that band Clutch, you know. So it was.
Oh yeah, there's them.
Yeah. So like,
nobody mistook us for Clutch. They're so much better than ours.
Well, I don't know about that, but yeah. Well,
but
we could talk about that some other time. But yeah, it's I guess what I
came along with. I guess they just wanted a paradigm shift, sort of, and I went along with it at the time. I did play on the second album.
Okay.
And that was supposed to be an EP with 4 songs on it.
It's short enough to be an EP.
It should have been an EP because the rest of it is bullshit. And
these guys just made it up, like right there.
No, it was stretched out because we were talking to Century Media.
Oh, okay. Well, that changes things a bit.
Yeah, Century Media proper even was like interested in us, and they were like, you need a full length. And we were like, what's a full length? And they were like, 38 minutes. Oh, so then we put in like an intro with a keyboard, and we did like this middle stuff, and we did like we just started stretching it out.
All the talking on, all the voices and stuff. Yeah.
That was smearing not enough butter over too much bread to make it a full length record.
Right.
And then Century Media was like, we're not interested anymore anyway.
That answers so many questions I had about that record, so I don't have to ask them. It's weird too because whenever I was like, we should have Trav on to talk about Alathian, and then I was like, no, that's lame. You know, like,
no, whatever.
We were kind of batting it back and forth because we made a conscious decision that if we're going to talk about a band like their discography, we just won't ever have the bands on it, you know. And that gives the people that we're asking to be on the show, they can listen to that and decide whether they want to talk to us or not, you know. And
well, we've been talking for 2 hours, and if you build this as a death discussion and only 45 minutes of it was death and the rest of it's about me, then they tuned out anyway. So
that's cool.
I don't know. Well, it's up to you guys. I don't care.
I guess to kind of tie this up, and I mean, you know, we don't have to stop talking after this, but there's but no, like, so with Death, what we're getting at basically is that Death is an absolute influential band, and if you're listening to a podcast like this, you've probably already heard of Death. I mean, it's If not, there's a pause button. There's Spotify. There's all that stuff you can go on and listen to it on. And Death really, as far as technical metal goes, I listen to a lot of bands now, like kind of like more in like the between the Buried in Me, contortionist kind of sound. And
I like contortionist.
Oh, dude. Well, we will be talking about that very soon, I'm sure. That's Jeff, who we haven't heard fucking anything out of all night.
Yeah, I'll be talking a lot more on that one, I promise.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Well, you know what, Jeff? I'll give you the last word. Final thoughts about Death.
Well, okay. I started with Death back in '97, and it wasn't my thing. Mainly because it was the first 3 albums. That's the first thing that I heard, because I had a buddy of mine who was just completely obsessed, and he's like, "Dude, you got to listen to this." And then a little while later, Dan over here introduced me again. He's like, "You got to give him another chance. Give him another chance." And
as many chances as it takes.
And it was mind blowing. The last three albums just did it for me big time. So,
attaboy, we got you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hook, line, and sinker. Because the more technical it is, the more excited I get. So, I was super happy. So that's where I'm at with them. It's a shame that he died as young as he did, and we don't get to find out exactly what could have happened, because of the direction it was going is just unbelievable.
Good final thought.
That was a good final thought.
What's your album of the week, Travis?
Week?
Yeah.
Like, what have I been listening to the most?
Like, the one record that everybody needs to go listen to.
We'll know if you're lying.
New Mastodon.
So what is the deal? Everybody's complaining about Mastodon, or am I making this up?
I haven't been complaining about it. Yeah.
Yeah, the new album's amazing.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know what people expect out of Mastodon now. We don't like it because they're writing heavy songs. That don't listen to them. Everything they do is sing along perfect. I don't know what the problem is.
I was going to say, I have nothing bad to say about Mastodon at any point in their career. I mean, it's just fucking good metal, man.
Like, I get it that Show Yourself is like basically a super heavy Foo Fighters song.
So?
I happen to like the Foo Fighters too, so I don't give a shit what these people think.
Right.
Like, okay, you think they sold out because of Show Yourself? Fast forward a couple tracks and go listen to Andromeda.
Right.
No, they didn't. Listen to the new Mastodon album. Like, listen to it as an album, and like read some interviews about it, and understand that like Roots Remain came from like Bill's mom's death, and like I think Troy had a parent pass away right around then too, and like there's some horrible shit that happened to this band during this album, and there's some deep stuff in there, and I don't know, people just want to shit on whatever is the new popular thing, and I happen to love the new Mastodon.
Well, that's what pisses me off about Mastodon is that, I mean, nothing about them personally, but just this idea that every band has an expiration date regardless of what they're putting out. Then this public eye of like, okay, we've liked everything from Mastodon up to this point, but now this new album, regardless of what it sounds like, we're going to shit on it.
Yeah,
and that's with everybody. Everybody started hating Opeth whenever they stopped doing death metal grunts.
Exactly,
and it's just like it's one of those stupid. Yeah,
I feel the same way with that with Catatonia. That was
Well, even on the contortionist, like
excellent, Jeff. Excellent example.
Yeah,
excellent example. Yeah,
bands that are still great, but for some stupid fucking cosmetic reason, everybody decides this is just shit.
That's because people get used to a certain style, and they're just like, well, that's what you do. You can't do anything else. And I'm like,
well, the old shit still exists, man.
Yeah,
nobody's stopping you from going back and listening to the old stuff if that's your jam,
That's been your mantra for like 20 years. Like, I can still go listen to it.
Yeah.
These are the same people that are threatened at the fact that they rebooted Ghostbusters with a woman cast.
Right, like who gives a shit?
They're not removing the Bill Murray version. It's still out there. They're not going to go remove it from your brain. It's just go watch the new one. If you don't care for it as much, then don't care for it as much. This is bullshit. Like, why?
I'm personally offended by this. Yeah,
right. Yeah, like they just got to do it because they're women or something like that. Dude, don't watch. If you don't like it, don't watch it. I don't know.
They're pandering.
But the Mastodon thing. Since we're on the death episode, let's talk about Mastodon.
Why not? Right. I mean, yeah.
There's no format to this at all. I love it. Who else is doing what Mastodon's doing? Who else has concept albums and about like, have you ever heard what Crack the Sky is about? How it's like an out of body experience about
Yes.
dude. It's totally like batshit crazy nuts.
It's actually my favorite Mastodon album. Is
dude,
Crack the Sky,
it's untouchably amazing, and like opening week had like 40,000 albums.
Yeah,
it's progressive, it's prog, it's sing along, it's crazy heavy. The video for Motherload, I think is absolute sheer genius, where they have like, I don't understand the concept behind it and everything, but then they have the dancers come in and they're twerking.
Yep.
Like, dude, everything about that band is like perfect.
Well, and I like their tongue-in-cheek attitude.
Absolutely. Who else is doing what they're doing right now? They are total punk rock. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, no, they're selling out. I'm like, they're not selling out. They're total punk rock. Who else is moving 41,000 albums the opening week doing what they're doing?
Well, and let's talk about selling out. Like, I don't know about you, but I've been waiting for the past, 25 years to sell out? Like, I mean...
No one ever offered it to me.
Yeah, what the fuck... I like money. I like doing things maybe to appeal to people, because you start off everything, if it's a band or a podcast or a website or whatever, it all starts as a grassroots movement, man. And so, like, you're literally spending more of your time selling yourself and what you do to somebody, but you're doing it by yourself, right? You don't have a team yet, that's doing that for you. So, you reach a certain level and you get a team, and it's just like you're not doing anything differently than you've ever been doing it. But everybody is like, oh, you fucking sold out. It's all about the money for you guys and not the music and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, dude, I
have to eat too.
Right. And nobody holds it against a fucking CEO for wanting to make, $3 million this year instead of $2.5 million.
When's the last time you went to see a band and they went, excuse me, were you at the first show?
If not, you need to leave. Yeah.
Yeah, you shouldn't be here, man. Because we don't want to expand our audience. This is just strictly for this elitist crowd.
I'm sure there's some Norwegian black metal band that has done that, but
whatever.
Yeah. I don't even do black metal anymore. Like that's the genre I got over.
I kind of never got into black metal. I think I only liked Extol because they had enough tech in there that they didn't bore me.
They were still basically death metal, like
kind of, yeah.
Not so much on Burial and stuff, but like on like Undeceived was more of a death metal. But I can talk about that a different episode. But yeah,
I've had people mention that like everything about Mastodon is supposed to be great, but it's kind of like what I said about Cannibal Corpse. All the components of Mastodon is supposed to be great, but for some reason I don't like it, and it's like they don't like it because it's popular or because they have the financing to shoot an amazing video like the Motherload video, but like, I don't know, man. Like, it's just, there's people out there that just their first initial response is to shit on it.
Right.
Like not just the new Mastodon. It's just period. Like this podcast. Oh, they're talking. These guys who nobody knows is talking to some guy that nobody knows for 2 hours about a band, and they go off the rails all the time. Sounds like shit, dude. This is a funny ass conversation. And
right.
I mean, like if people don't want to listen to the entire thing, okay, that's fine too. But I mean, all you have to do is turn it off and go listen to Mark Maron.
Right.
You don't have to go online and post about how terrible it is.
Right.
Don't listen to. Just turn it off.
Well, honestly, I hope that. My biggest hope through this whole podcast was that people were going to hate it, and then I got to read their shitty comments, live on the show. Because I don't care, like any feedback is good feedback at this point, So like, there's a. But what's funny is the fact that it's a bunch of guys that nobody knows talking to another guy nobody knows. People are almost more willing to listen to that than they are something that's really popular. Which I think is just odd because there's a certain, like, I got in on the ground level.
Way to be punk rock about it, Dan.
Well, I got in on the ground level and I'm checking it out when nobody else did. And like,
well, what else do you want to listen to? Dude, what was it like to record with Kurt Ballou? It was really good.
Right, yeah.
What was it like to be on the Warped Tour? Oh, it was so crazy. You have any crazy tour stories? Oh, yeah, this one time we broke down in this crazy city and we were in the middle of nowhere, and we were like, "Whoa, we're in the middle of nowhere." And
Holy
then we
shit!
were like,
yeah.
and then we had to like call a tow. Like we've all heard that story before, I think this shit's more interesting to listen to. This is real.
Oh yeah, like, and that's what me and Brandon were talking about on that. Because we're on a first name basis now, yeah. But like, it's one of those.
Dude, with Kellum, he's your drinking buddy now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, dude. I mean, he's my now. He's my Facebook Messenger buddy. You know, it's like
there you go. I don't remember who I was talking to on my show about it, but it was kind of like I can't help you sell an album.
Right.
I can't help you sell an album. What I can do is talk to you. You can be honest with me. We can really kind of dump our guts on each other and have an honest conversation. And then hopefully the listener, like my crowd kind of has, I kind of have a little bit of a base, and I kind of get that they like the authenticness of it and that kind of thing. And I think if they honestly feel what the person is saying, they're going to kind of fall in love with that person a little bit more, and it makes them feel like I want to give that band a chance. Let me, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like the Mastodon thing, where I kind of felt like, how easy would it be to be like, oh, they didn't advertise this album very much, and it just popped out of nowhere, and whatever, it's gonna suck. The artwork's not good. It's just like some Egyptian dead thing.
Right.
But then I started reading articles about how like Bill and Troy both basically built one song around lost parents. I was like, I had a dad die.
Yeah.
Man, that's wow, you know? And it kind of made me want to give it a chance more because I just liked the story more. It's called As the Story Grows, for crying out loud. Like, right. I wanted people to get on there and just be honest and kind of tell stories and have you be like, you know what? I do like that guy a little bit more. And I do like that girl after talking to her. I do want to check out what they're doing. And it seems to be working on a small scale, you know?
Well, and like my original goal was to copy that, you know, a little bit, but like not rip it off because, you know, I mean, at some point you're going to send me an email, okay, motherfucker, you know, like
no, not because I ripped it off. Like I'm trying to be the Mark Maron of independent music.
Right.
I'd rather talk about. No, I'm totally just trying to have honest conversations with people. I've admitted that before. Mark Maron was a huge influence on me because I feel it. You know what I mean? Like I really honestly feel that the guy has the ability to sit in his garage twice a week and be honest.
Yeah, and that's cool. You know? I love that authenticity, and I also like just kind of getting a background, like when I'm listening to stuff. You know, like with the Mark Garza episode, and even like the Tourniquet one was like really eye opening for me. Even though it was crazy, I mean, the dude was balls out nuts. You know,
dude, he's high as a kite.
Oh, dude, you could, yeah. He kept being like, dude, I need to get some more pills. It was like, yeah. And, but it was so awesome though. Like, it was so eye opening and, that was so much fun. And our whole thing was just like, we decided to go in more of a, like, we're going to talk about these bands' discographies, even though like shit, dude, for the past, like 2 months, it hasn't even been that, you know, it's been more just like talking to people and just kind of going crazy. But it's weird too, because it hasn't actually detracted anybody. Once we actually started making connections and talking to people, it kind of became its own thing. And it's funny, we were a few beers in and we were like, we need to buy a website name, and I was like, dude, we should do discussmetal.com. And like looking back on it, I was like, shit, why didn't we just call the podcast Discuss Metal? You know, and so, because like lately, that's literally all it's been. It's all been under that Discuss Metal mantra instead of like the traditional discography discussion. You know, and,
right? It's loosely based around a discography, though. I mean, there's threads. We went in and out of death the entire time.
Yeah, so. We did. Yeah,
that's cool.
It was fun. But yeah, I think with podcasting, it's definitely opened my eyes, especially since I'm like driving more. I mean, I drove a lot when I was a cable guy, but all I did was listen to like all I did was listening to music the whole time. I never even thought.
A lot of Carcass.
I could have been a lot of Carcass. Yeah, I've been downloading. I downloaded like all the podcasts, and I was like, holy shit, how many fucking episodes does Travis have here? You know, like it was like. It was insane, and so that is literally as creepy as it sounds. That for the past 6 months, I've pretty much just been listening to your voice, with friends, and
so sorry that you had to listen to my nasally, sinusy voice the whole time.
That's a lot better, man. I hate the way my voice sounds on this shit. I hated it when I recorded music. I hate it now. Like it just.
I think literally everybody says that.
So yeah, well, because you don't hear yourself. I sound awesome in my head. When I'm talking, but then when I listen to the recording back, I'm like. okay.
Right. I know exactly how that feels.
He sounds like what he is, a fat dude talking about stuff, you know. It's, you know.
Dude, that means a lot to me that I did something that made somebody else want to do something. That's all I want to do is inspire people to create. And I mean, I didn't do anything. There's nothing pioneering here. I'm not the first person to think of a podcast. I'm not the first person to call up somebody who they like and be like, "Hey, I want to talk to you about what you do," you know. But yeah. Dude, I've been telling this to people I've been doing this for 2.5 years. If you go all the way back to, if you dig way down there, it was called Black Vinyl Collective.
Black Vinyl Collective, yeah.
Mm-hmm. With Jesse from Veritas Vinyl. He asked me to kind of come on and be a guest, and then he was like, "Do you want to co-host?" And then I hijacked the show.
Right. This is mine now. Yeah.
Nah, he tapped out. No, that was legal. That wasn't me hijacking.
Sure.
But it was for 2.5 years. My thing that I've been telling people is like, dude, I can't figure out how everybody's not doing this.
Well, that's what I was like. I was like, shit, I could go to Joe's. We could fucking set some microphones up. We can, hit a record button. Like it was
what I do.
I bought this lollipop on eBay. It's $50. I'm talking into it. And
that's awesome. Yeah.
Not complicated, man. And within 2 years, I'm talking to Gene Hoglan, Jason Sherlock. You should see who I have lined up, man.
I'm jealous, whatever it is, because
I just did a strong arm special.
I listened to that, dude. Fucking okay. Advent of a Miracle, greatest hardcore album ever.
Yep.
Like, I mean, perfect length, perfect songs, perfect.
Another episode and discuss.
Holy shit! Well, I think at some point we will discuss Strong Arm, even though they only had two albums out. But I mean, that's the hard thing to describe to people that have never heard of a band before. We're like, dude, you need to check this. Well, they only have 2 albums out, and they listen to it, and they're like, whatever. It's like, no, you just had to be around then, But, like, I mean, that record is just so fun. I mean, it was part of the reason I started doing hardcore screaming and stuff. It was just so, not to get, like, religious, but it's, like, so blessed sounding and just so, like, you really believed all of it. That's why I was shocked when I listened to your episode, and he was like, dude, I was really sick when I recorded that. And I was just like, dude, there's no way. Like, it sounds like it's better screaming than I can do.
The fact
and
that
you were sick.
He was filling a Snapple bottle with lung pudding is one thing.
Yeah.
The other part that's amazing is that first rah scream that you hear in Time That Tribe and Souls. That's the first thing he's ever sang.
Right. I was just like, shit, dude.
He's never done it before. And I was like, it's one of my favorite performances ever. Like, I scream along, and by track 4, I can't sing anymore because I've blown my throat to shreds.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Dude, he's an animal, that kid.
Yeah, it's craziness. I mean, I remember bitching when we recorded our stuff that, like, I was like, so I have to go in there and scream all day? Like, that's bullshit. Like, I shouldn't have to do that.
Day.
Yeah, and
then he did it.
Yeah, I couldn't do it now. I mean, for sure I couldn't do it now. Like, I have enough trouble just talking into a microphone now. Like, It was just crazy. Just hearing that story and him being like, yeah, I'd never really done it before.
Well, I will tease this on your show then. There was another quintessential Christian album that came out that year, and I'll be doing that one too.
Was that 97?
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna go look it up.
I am.
He's gonna read every album that came out in 97 and narrow it down.
Yep, yeah. And you can guess.
It's probably something I listen to on the daily. It's not popping in yet.
Oh yeah, you've heard it.
I'm sure I have.
Yep. And who I have lined up, if I actually get all my ducks in a row and I get everybody who agreed to be on it, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with it.
That'll be really exciting. But all right, man. Yeah, this is definitely not the last time you're going to hear from us. So,
cool, man.
Cool,
Jeff,
dude.
nice meeting you. Don't talk so much next time.
Yeah, I'll make sure of that.
Yeah, dude's a blabbermouth. All right, cool. Well, Trav, thanks so much, man. Have a good night.
Dude, we'll see you.
Good night, guys.
Right, see ya. Bye.
Later.
This has been episode 12 of Discography Discussion. Thank you for listening. You can like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at Discuss Metal. Subscribe to our podcast everywhere you listen to podcasts, including Google Play, iTunes, and Stitcher. Visit DiscussMetal.com for all things discography discussion, and please send questions and comments to danandjoeshow@gmail.com.
Oh, I hear it now.
The entire world had fallen down.
Then what happened? That's me?
That's you.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
Then what happened?
And then what happened? Hey, and you were famous too because when we would play shows after that, whenever we would do that, start that part or whatever, people from the crowd would scream. And then what happened? Yeah.
See, I told you hard music is cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, go upstairs and listen to your pop garbage.
No, I was making macaroni and cheese.